Now let's understand what is appending of the table and what is merging. So appending is when we want to stack rows one below the other. So suppose data is available in multiple worksheets and we want to combine the data from multiple worksheets into one single table, we can use appending feature wherein we want to add all the rows one below the other. What about merge? Merge is when we want to merge two tables side by side. Appending and merging. What is the difference? Appending is when we stack rows one below the other, whereas merging is when we join a table side by side. Let's understand these two features in Power BI. Let's connect with a new data source. So we are going to use this data source, which has multiple worksheets with different movie names. So let me show you the data first in Excel worksheet. Why we are seeing so many tables? Why we are seeing so many worksheets and table name? So let's see our data. This is the data. Now in this data, we have multiple worksheets. We can see we have top 200 movies names available in this worksheet. And then top 201 to 400 movies are given here. Top 401 to 600 movies names are given here. And then finally, these are the different worksheets given. Now, our client is, let's say, from an entertainment industry and they want us to append this data. We need to visualize this data. Before visualizing this data, we have to first append it. Append means this top 200 movies below this data. This data should come below that data. This entire top 1 till 1000 movies, all movies should be available in one single worksheet. And then once we have this, then we want to add this rating. This IMBD rating worksheet is given separately. Now we can see that in our data source, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 worksheets are given. But if we go to Power BI navigator pane is showing us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this is double. Number is double. In our data, there are 6 worksheets, but navigator pane is showing 12. So why we see these, and we can see these different icons. This icon is different and this icon is different. So what are we seeing here? Every range, this is a normal range. This is a table. Why we see it's a typical Excel table? It is because the data has been formatted as table. So we can see this feature here, format as table. If we will convert any normal range data into a table. Let me just copy this data and let's open a new worksheet wherein I'm going to paste this data. So this is a simple data. There is no table. This is not a typical Excel table. Let me change colors and everything to make it normal. So let's say this is a simple data set. We don't call this as a typical Excel table because this is called as normal range. Now, how you will recognize if it's a table or it's a normal range? If you select any cell, we don't see any contextual tab. Whereas the other data set, if we select any cell, we can see this contextual tab, table design and query. So this table design contextual tab will only appear once we will convert our normal range into table. So let me show you in this data set, this is not formatted as a table and we don't see any table design contextual tab. So first, let me show you how to format this. We can select any cell and then we can select any of these designs. Usually, a lot of people use this feature for designing purpose, but this is more than that. Once we format this normal range as table, then only we will see table design. Now, every table will have a name. This is sheet name, and every table which is going to be created, a name will be given. By default, table name is table 1, but this name can be changed. We can use a different name. Let's say data. So now this table name is data. Once we select any cell from this table, we can see name of this table. So if we will connect with this data source, we will see 2 names. One is data, which is the table name, and the other one is sheet name. So why we are seeing these 12 names here? It is because this worksheet has 6 worksheets and it also has 6 tables. And we can see table name here. This is the table name. So we are seeing 6 table names and 6 worksheet names. So it is not a good idea to select all. If we select all, then it is going to be duplication of data. So either we can go with table name or we can go with worksheet name. So let's go with worksheet name. We can choose even table name as well. In this case, doesn't matter if we select table, because on each worksheet, there is only one single table. If there is only one single table, then it's not a problem. But if suppose there are multiple tables, then it's a problem. Then we have to see which table we want to connect in our Power BI report. So right now I'm selecting these 6 worksheet. I'm not selecting these ones. Let's click on transform data. Now first step is we are going to append this data. To append this data, we can use append feature. Now, what is append? Append means we need a query here where all the 1000 top movies should be there. Right now, different query is giving this query has 200 movies. This query has 201 to 400. This query has 401 to 600. So let's first create a query where we have all 1000 movies named, and then we can add this IMDb rating. So let's just select top 200. And then within Home tab in Power Query Editor, we have this amazing dedicated feature. We can append queries and we can also append queries as new. When we want a new query should be generated, then we can use append queries as new. Else, if we want to append rest of the queries below top 200, then we can go with this one. Right now, let's just choose new because we want to create a new query. Now we need to choose. If we just have 2 tables or more than 2 tables, we can see we just have, we don't have just 2 tables. We have more than 2 tables. So suppose we have just 2 tables, then we can just select the second table. But right now we know that we have more than 3 tables. So we will choose this one. When we have more than 3 tables, we will go with this one. If we just have 2 tables, we can go with this option. So let's choose 3 or more tables. Now, by default, first one is already selected. We don't have to select this again. Let's just select this. Let's add this, then this. Let's add this. After this, we'll add this. And then finally, we will add this also. We are not going to add this. Let's click OK. And once we click OK, a new query will be generated. This query has been generated and this has all 1000 movies named. Now, we have created a appended table where rows are added one below the other. Now, once this is done, we also have top 250 movies rating, IMDb rating, and this column needs to be added within this appended query. So how can we do that? To do that, when we want to join side by side 2 tables, or we want to add columns from a different table, we can go with merge feature. So either we can use merge queries or we can use merge queries as a new. Now, we don't want to generate a new query. Instead, we want to use merge queries. Let me select merge queries. And now we need to select our table 2. This is a primary table and we need to choose the second table. This is the second table. Now we can see this OK is grayed out. Why this is grayed out? Because we have selected the second table, but we need to highlight the common fields. We need to select the common fields, though title is different, header is different, but the values are similar. So we can highlight those, and then by default, usually left outer is being used. Now, what is join kind in merging? So join kind left outer means all from first record and only matching record from second table. If we choose right outer, it means all from second table. It is already given in this bracket, all from second table, and give only matching records from first. Full outer means give all the records from both. So these are different join kind, but by the default one is left outer. Now we can click OK. And once we click OK, this column here, this table is showing association of this table within this table. Now, to merge this column, we can select, we need to add only IMDb rating. So we will select that column. we don't want to use this name as a prefix. So let's just uncheck this and click OK. And now we will have rating from this list. Now, why we are seeing nulls here? There are so many nulls. If we go to View tab and if we check this box, column quality will show us that 97% values are empty. So why these are empty? It is because this list has 1000 movies list, whereas this query has only 250 movies list. Now, client is saying that we need to visualize only that data where IMDb rating is given. So no point loading this entire 1000 rows for visualization. Instead, we can simply filter it out. Let's just uncheck null and we can select others. It is by default already selected. So just uncheck null. And once we uncheck null, we don't see any null value here. And now we can see total number of rows is 30. It means that only 30 movies are common out of this 1000 list and this 250 movies list. So that's how we can use append queries and merge query. So when to use append? Example, suppose we have monthly data given in different worksheets. We want to combine that data January month, February month, March month, all this data is given in different worksheets. So we want January on top and then Feb and then March. We can append that data. When to use merge? When, let's say, product information is given in one worksheet, whereas category, subcategory, other information is given in another table, and we want to join it side by side, or we want to add few columns. Then we can use merge queries. Even we can see these icons. Icon shows append rows, merge tables. So that's how we can use append and merge feature for combining data and visualizing a combined consolidated data.